then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
Hello race fans and welcome to Sim Racing Media. We are live here for the Western States Racing League, round number 15 at Watkins, Glen. I'm Liam Irvig, joined up in the booth as always by Mike DeBunny. Mike, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Can't wait to see what these drivers can do here on the road course.
Now we've got, they always change the number. I say 9. You've got Turn 1, you've got the S's, 2, 3, and 4. The bus stops, kind of 5, then 6. Carousel, I've always kind of called Turn 7, and then 8 and 9. But when it comes to road racing, everybody kind of comes up with their own names. But we are about ready to get rolling here. Let's go ahead and bring you guys our starting lineup. On the pole, Matt Sisler with Scott Patton to his outside, followed by Chris Simard and Jacob Jensen, P3 and 4. Ryan Barnes and Ryan Steele make up row number 3, followed by Bob Beltrami and Caleb Lamb. Wayne Hutchison and John Kenyon make up your top 10 here at Watkins Glen, followed by Julian Ritchie and Earl Weaver. David Weaver and Dustin Burns in row number 7, followed by Todd Miles and Scott Kukas. Tyrone Harris and Barry Phil are going to be in row number 9, followed by Wayne Fleet and Alan Bergen. Pace truck is getting ready to make that hard right turn this week. So these drivers get ready to do some road racing here in Watkins Glen. 36 laps are green now. Strong start there by Patton on the right, or on the left side of the track, but the right side, the low lane into turn 1 is going to be advantageous for both Sisler and Jacob Jensen. Jensen moves up into second. Samard going to try to follow through to third and does so. Single file here. We got one going up into the wall. That's the 8 of Caleb Lamb. Running through the grass, trying to stay out of the way, but this is a tight spot on the racetrack. Be able to continue on forward. Sisler leads him into the bus stop.
Yeah, Sisler got that good start, that good jump. Jacob Jensen making his way down on the inside as well. They come around the carousel down through the corner. You'll see these drivers take every inch of racetrack and some of it off.
Yeah, it's a track with a lot of runoff area. It's definitely easy to go a little wide and not hurt your run too much, as we see a little side-by-side here with Julian Ritchie and John Kenyon. Kenyon's going to complete that pass, and a little bit loose there for the 18 coming up off of the final turn.
11, 12, whatever, you know. Ooh, Jensen a little bit loose.
A little bit early to be getting loose here. I know you're going to have some time. Looks like he might have a little bit of extra rear brake bias. He started to slide when he put the brakes down getting into the bus stop. And that can be really sketchy when you get later on tires. So watch for Jacob Jensen to be adjusting that throughout the course of this race. Trouble with Dustin Burns here at the bus stop. A couple other cars going to go wide to avoid Alan Bergen. He's gone off.
Took the scenic route.
The path less traveled. Matt Sisler continues to lead. Jacob Jensen in second, fastest lap of the race so far. Just put down by third place, Chris Samard. He put down a 1:13.19. Almost matched there by Scott Patton with a 1:13.21. We'll take a look at these fastest 5 laps of the race. Third and fourth, a little bit quicker than first and second, but not by much. It's a couple of tenths. There's Jacob Jensen closing in on your race leader. He got a little bit sideways on entry again. That's something I really want to keep an eye on as he continues to work his way up through the field. Or closer, rather, to the back bumper of Matt Sisler. Taking up all of the runoff that you can there, coming up off of the carousel.
Now they're running almost identical paths on the track, so something's going to have to give in order for Jensen to make some ground here. So they get almost to that outside wall. Chris Samard closes in and got just within grasp distance of that rear bumper there of Jacob Jensen.
Yeah, once again, the quickest car on the racetrack that time, this time by only a couple of 100ths to the car in front. Jacob Jensen with a 1:13.31. 3 laps complete. These 3 drivers starting to get under a blanket for the race lead, and Scott Patton just waiting in the wind. Brian Barnes not too far off of this group as well. He's able to get himself a pretty nice island of clean air, both in front and in behind. Same with Ryan Steele. Sisler able to get a little bit more of a run coming up off of the carousel, though, and gaps him by a couple of car lengths.
Yeah, if these guys keep it up for all 36 laps, this is going to be a good race. As Sisler gets a little loose there, allows Jensen to close in a touch.
Yeah, these guys are going to continue to fall off in terms of lap times, in terms of tire wear. That's going to change things up, and you're going to see the way that these guys attack these corners. Later on in the run, your tires are going to be suffering because of it. And I know I brought up Jacob Jensen's entry into the bus stop. See if we can go on board with him here as he enters. See how sideways he gets, or if that truck gets upset at all as he tries to close in on the race lead. Seemed to have stabilized a bit more on entry that time, but exit clipped a little bit of dirt. That's where you saw that wiggle. Currently sits 0.7 of a second off of the race lead, and Chris Samard started to fall off of that second place as well. That's to the tune of 0.7 of a second. Also, Scott Patton trying to close in on that number 77 machine up here in the top four. Bob Beltrami was under fire from Wayne Hutchison. He's been able to put a little bit of gap in between those two.
I was just say, it looks like everybody's starting to kind of get about a second between themselves and the cars around them, so should be relatively easy paced here as Caleb Lamb and Earl Weaver start to battle a little bit.
Yeah, Lamb, remember, got a little bit of damage there on the first lap. Not sure how much it's going to affect that truck, but definitely not the way that he wanted to start this race. Right now under fire here from Earl Weaver outside of the top 10. Going to close back in. But after an off like that on the first lap, that's a lot to overcome.
Like Earl Weaver got a little bit loose on corner entry.
Chris Samard starting to close in a little bit on Jacob Jensen. Goes a little bit wider into one to try to cut his exit. Then about a truck length now coming up the S's. Scott Patton about 2-3 truck lengths behind this. We know Patton can be fast. He showed his pace on these road courses a couple of times last year. I can imagine he's being a little methodical at the moment. He sees the leader still not too terribly far away, doesn't feel the need to push. Then you see a battle like this happening in front of you, and you might find yourself a quick opportunity to get a 2-for-1.
Yeah, let those guys battle, make a mistake, and then just take advantage. As it looks like Samard almost tried to go to the outside there. Patton got a little bit loose, gathered it back in. Scott Patton was
loose there.
Yeah, I was say Scott Patton was one of the faster cars in practice earlier as well. So
yeah, I thought he had a good chance of winning the pole. He got beat out there by Sisler, and I mean, it was close. Currently sits in fourth. Lost a couple of spots there on that initial green flag, and now he's comfortable. Sitting right around 2 seconds behind the race leader is Chris Samard, still trying to find a way around Jacob Jensen. Try to use this draft down the long straightaway and potentially set himself up into the bus stop. Jacob Jensen has been so good in that braking zone. I don't know if that's going to be where you're able to make the pass.
It looks like Samart's trying everything, trying to outbreak him just a little bit to get to that inside. Wasn't able to do it, but I was going to cut.
Yeah, this could be the opportunity here. He's got a little bit of a run on Jensen. Through the gears, Jensen's able to get into fourth a little bit quicker than Samard would have liked. He pokes the nose down to the inside. Jensen goes wide, gets a little bit loose coming up off of, we'll say, turn 6 and turn 7.
Now, it looked like Samard had.
Here.
It looked like Samard had almost had enough run, just elected to back out of it a little bit and show some courtesy there to Jensen as Jensen gets a little loose in front of him. Gonna, not quite have enough for the run.
Getting up these S's is so tough when you're following in behind somebody this close, but Jensen slides. Really going to hurt those rear tires, and Chris Samard likes what he's seeing in front of him at 64. Looks unstable.
Yeah, I think you're going to see that more and more as they come through the top of the S's, get a little bit out of shape there as these tires tend to wear. So it might be a good spot to take advantage and try and make a pass.
You see coming up off of some of these corners, you can see the tire tracks leaving the rear tires of that 64 right in front of Samard here. And that's got to have him thinking it's only a matter of time before a mistake or some situation allows me the chance to get the nose on Jensen. Like that might have been it there for a moment, but Jensen able to recover and get a nice exit coming up off the corner. Scott Patton just behind to the tune of 2 car lengths. And all this has allowed Matt Sisler to get out to a 1.25 second gap as he comes to put Alan Bergen 1 lap down. Scott Kukas just up there, Todd Miles as well. Starting to see a little bit of traffic here. Alan Bergen getting in the way of Chris Samard, Jacob Jensen, and Scott Patton. Not a great time to catch up to a lapped car, getting right up there into the bus stop, but everybody's able to get through A-OK. 9 laps complete, going to be 10 complete this time. Samard, this time he's got to run. He's got the nose. Is he going to be able to dive it in into turn 6? He's nose to nose. Oh, Jensen sideways. I don't know if there was contact there, but Jensen slides. He's going to try to keep that 46 from also completing the pass. Little bit loose there for Jensen. A little bit loose there for Patton. They're side by side down the front straightaway. Dead even. Advantage Jensen across the line. Patton tries to outbrake him deep. Here's Todd Miles on the inside. 3 wide through turn 1. Jacob Jensen going to survive this battle for now. Scott Patton trying to keep his nose up there. Todd Miles caught at an inopportune time for these drivers to go 3 wide into turn number 1.
Yeah, that has got to be playing havoc on these race leaders. They are the fastest cars on track, and then you come across some of the drivers going a lap down, and they just don't have the
Jensen's going to get in the back of the 11. Scott Patton all over the rear bumper of Jacob Jensen. Now Wayne Fleet goes around off of the front bumper of Jacob Jensen. You can see that dented in the front end of that 64. He's trying to defend now over the 46 of Scott Patton. Patton gets himself a little bit of a run. He's going to poke his nose to the inside. Going to try to get himself in there. Jensen has to leave himself has to leave a space on the inside. He's got the preferred lane getting through the final corner. Scott Patton really trying to muscle his way around as he's starting to see those drivers up front drive away from him.
Yeah, Jacob Jensen's going to have to get that 64 truck fixed on probably the only pit stop that they're going to have to make here. Try and get some nose damage fixed. But he's been able to hold off Patton, so. Looks like they've lost about 3.5 seconds on the race leaders.
Yeah, Chris Samard, he's able to get out almost 3.5 seconds in front of these guys, and it's 2.25 up in front to Matt Sisler. I was loving seeing all this action way behind him. That's only going to increase that number on his relative, and when you get to a race like this, there's going to be times that you can't see anybody in your mirror, but you're still going to feel better when you see that relative jumping up.
Yeah, Matt Sisler just caught the lap traffic at almost the exact right time for him, and he has kind of set sail a little bit here as he's 2.5 seconds almost in front of Chris Samard.
Yeah, really able to work that lap traffic at very opportune times. It was not the best spot to catch the very filled truck there, but Chris Samard is going to be able to take advantage of that as well. Jacob Jensen still trying to defend here from the 46 of Scott Patton. Patton looks down to the inside into the bus stop. That's going to be a sketchy spot to make a pass. Jensen goes around! Into the wall hard. I'm not sure if that was contact or just aggressive defense there on an aggressive move coming around the corner, but Jacob Jensen, rear end damage, front end damage, not the way he wants his race to go.
I don't see much on that truck, so we'll have to go back and take a look, see what happened.
Oh, there's trees. Oh, yeah, little tap.
Looks like Jacob just hit the brakes a little bit sooner than Patton thought he was going to.
Yeah, I think it was a little tap, but if it was the slightest of taps. Jacob Jensen into the pits, going to get some of that damage looked at, get some fresh tires, get back out onto the racetrack. Might have forced his hand into a two-stop strategy, but if he can keep the pace, it might not be the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, they are running 80% fuel, so I don't know exactly how many laps that would lend you, but I guess we'll find out with the... What are you thinking?
That might mean his window's open now.
Yeah.
Matt Sisler continues to lead. He's got about 2 seconds over Chris Samard in second place. Patton in third. He is 8 seconds off of the race lead. Brian Barnes moves up to fourth after the Jacob Jensen spin. And Ryan Steele gets himself up into the top 5. Jacob Jensen out of the race. It's a tough couple of weeks for him. I believe last week he fell out and had to use a drop week as well.
Yeah.
Obviously has one of the better records in the league this season, but you just don't want to have to fall back on anything.
I mean, right now, even with last week, he still was leading the season point standings by 53 points. So
that is true. Still got 5 wins on the season. We have 21 laps to go here at Watkins Glen. Matt Sisler continues to lead. 2.3 seconds now. Really seems to go a tenth in the favor of Samard, a couple tenths in the favor of Sisler. These guys traded lap times back and forth, but neither driver is ultra consistent right now.
No, they make a little mistake here or there, and that's just the 10th here and there. So we'll see what happens as these guys get moving.
Well, that is large and obnoxious. I thought it might give us like sector time so we could see where drivers are quicker, but looks like a couple tenths in the favor of Samard in the first half of the lap. And getting through the bus stop and the carousel, that seems to be where Matt Sisler starts to pull out a couple more tenths.
Yeah, seems about right.
His final two, though, it's kind of a toss-up.
And Scott Patton had lost a ton of time after hitting that lap traffic, too. So, I mean, he's just mired back in third place.
Yeah, these tires haven't fallen off a crazy amount yet. I mean, we're still in the 1:13.2 bracket, fastest laps of the race, where 1:13.19 was the fastest. Right now, that driver, Chris Samard, just ran a 1:13.86. So the tire fall off hasn't been ultra crazy. I can't imagine an undercut is going to be the call for Scott Patton. He's going to have to find a way to gain all that time on track. So here comes John Kenyon with about 19 laps to go to make his scheduled pit stop. That should open the floodgates here, Mike.
I would think so. It's going to be pretty close to that. I'd imagine that Sisler and Samard will probably stay out as long as they can. Probably pretty much split it right in half, so next couple laps.
Well, here comes Sisler. This time Samard comes in with him.
Well, you know. You know how that goes.
Patton going to follow in as well. So top three all in the pits. Brian Barnes going to stay out to lead a lap. Steele stays out as well. Let's see if Beltrami comes in. Oh, man, they come out side by side. Samard has to give, but he is right on the rear bumper of Matt Sisler.
Yeah, right on the rear bumper.
Oh, he's trying to go for it already.
I think you have to if you're Samard. You know how fast that Three Birdies Ram is on that long run, so you might want to take advantage while you can.
Both drivers on cold tires try to attack hard in the bus stop. Smart able to stay within a couple of car lengths here, and even if that's all he can do, I think that's going to be kind of a net win. He came into the pits about 2 seconds behind. A little bit loose there on those cold tires to the carousel. Overall, I would say that is a win on the pit cycle for Team 77. Scott Patton able to close in a little bit too. He brings it down to 6.3 seconds. And if these guys get to battling side by side, racing hard, that's just going to bring that 46 truck ever so much closer throughout the remaining second half of this race. Got 20 laps, or 19 laps rather, complete. 17 to go. It'll be 20 laps complete next time Brian Barnes crosses the stripe. Beltrami comes into the pits. Todd Miles as well. See how long Barnes elects to stay out for.
I'll say you have Barnes and Steele that tend to run a little bit longer than everybody else, but there's no way you're making it on not stopping. So,
and Brian Barnes hasn't been nearly as easy on his tires as the drivers that were racing for the lead were earlier. Last time around, he ran a 1:14.69. Alan Bergen goes another lap down. Big slide there. So these tires are a bit worn. He's almost a second off of his fastest lap of the race. Sometimes up in the 1:15-second bracket. There's Dustin Burns heading off. Matt Sisler just ran the fastest lap of the race, a 1:12.90. Chris Samard, a 1:12.96 just behind him. But Sisler is not playing around. Earl Weaver goes around to the bus stop.
it's amazing how many drivers go clear into the bus stop there.
It is so easy to do. I mean,
I know.
it's such a tight, narrow braking zone and entry into that corner. If you miss that curb, don't get the tires planted just right, you can find yourself in a heap of trouble. Ryan Steele comes into the pits from second place. Keeps Brian Barnes out there all on his lonesome, the only driver in the top 5 yet to make a pit stop. Tyrone Harris and David Weaver have not yet stopped as well. They're currently running in 7th and 8th. Or 8th and 9th, rather. That last time around, it seemed to go a couple of 100ths in the favor of the 77 Samart. Sisler trying to do what he can to not give the 77 any draft on this back straightaway. Little bit of grass.
Looks like Ricci went around.
Able to drive it away. It doesn't look like there's any damage on that truck. Some damage on the left front here, Brian Barnes, though. Yeah, that toe is knocked out. He is in trouble. So that's going to be an extended pit stop from the race lead. Giving it back to Matt Sisler by about 0.4 of a second over Chris Samard with 14 laps to go. Samard really tried to attack hard on the exit of turn 1. Gets himself a good run coming up the S's. Gonna be able to get a bit of a tow. Little slipstream down the back straightaway. Sisler stays in line this time. Under braking, Sisler seems to be able to get into the bus stop a little bit better than Samard. Samard clips the grass, gets sideways. That's going to cost him a car length or two.
He's trying to do everything he can to keep up with Matt Sisler. Just hasn't been able to. Still a couple car lengths back. Coming up on the back of Julian Ricci.
Trouble for Alan Bergen there. Looks like he'll be able to continue on. Good run here for Samard coming up off of the final corner. Not close enough to make a move, but still close enough to keep pressure as they start to close in on that 18-lap truck of Julian Ricci. Julian actually the final driver on the lead lap right now, running in 8th position. Good run for him, up 3 spots from where he started.
Brian Barnes still in the pits, taking getting all that damage repaired he can.
Oh, Sisler, big
almost
time loose coming
around.
off of the S's. He's going to lose the lead to Samard.
Wow.
And that's what we talked about, Mike. All it takes is one mistake. Getting around a lap truck, went into a lane that he wasn't quite used to. Puts the power down, and it gets him sideways. Now he's got a completely different ball game than he's had on his plate for the entire race. Now he's chasing down the race leader.
Yeah, he's got to reel that in, get his composure back, because he knows that 87 is fast. He just has to get it settled back in and then slowly begin to work onto the back bumper there of Chris Samard.
Well, he also knows that at the end of that last run, he was able to drive away on the older tires. So as long as he can stay close, he might be able to put together another charge here in the late couple of laps. 10 to go or 12 to go this time around. That's a long way to go with this road course in Watkins Glen. Tyrone Harris has had an off-track excursion. Looks to be clean and green for now, though, as this guy's working around another lapped car in the same spot on the track. However, Dustin Burns went over to the left side. Give these guys a little bit different of an approach, as here comes Sisler starting to chase back down on the 77. Sliding a little bit wide as Samard. Sisler trying to stick his nose in there. Just say, hey, buddy, I'm still here. Nice run coming up off of turn number 5, the carousel. Six and 7 look pretty good for Samard at this point. Sisler tries to go in a little bit deeper. Oh man, Samard got loose, and I think the 90 or the 87 might have just followed him into that spot.
That looked like they both got loose about the same spot. Both of them trying to, well, Samard's trying to drive almost through his rearview mirror a little bit there, and Sisler trying to close in. Brian Barnes still on pit lane.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened to that 4 and his fender there and suspension, but yeah, obviously not the way that he wanted his race to go. He's currently sitting back in 19th position. Back out onto the track now. But 4 minutes spent in the pit stall.
Oh, jeez. Hey, Liam, go look at Julian Ricci's crash.
Oh, I suppose that'll probably do it. Oh, no. Ricci gets sideways, nowhere for the race leader in the 4 to go.
Nope.
Dustin Burns had himself an off. Back up front, though, it's still half a second or less separating the top 2, as it has been for virtually every lap since we've gotten off of the pit lane. Take another look at this pass for the lead.
Oh, it just got loose.
Yeah, he had to take a line that he wasn't quite familiar with, and well, you get up out of that groove, it could really upset the truck. Saw that there with Sisler. Excellent job of keeping that thing straight. Now it's back down to game time. With 9 laps to go, can Matt Sisler go back and chase down, retake this race lead? It's a little bit sideways there coming up off of the bus stop. Doesn't seem to slow him down much, though.
No, he's done it almost every lap. It's amazing that he's able to keep that speed in there as they're working back to lap traffic once again, and you know that that's going to play a factor here before the end of this race.
Saw the lead change hands battling through lap traffic once before. Still got 8 laps to figure this thing out, Mike. I don't think it's impossible that we see it happen again.
No, because most of the time the lap cars are right on that racing line. Oh, and they're side by side now in front of him.
John Kenyon right in front of the race leader. Chris Samard, nowhere to go right now. Oh, here comes Matt Sisler with a run. Sisler looks down to the right side, going 3 wide around the lapper. There's Barry Phil, just barely gets around him. Side by side, dead even, getting into the bus stop, and Matt Sisler powers back to the race lead.
Wow, that takes some guts there from Matt Sisler. Going 3, almost 4 wide around lap traffic. Dodging to the inside, and that's going to give him the lead.
That could be the move of the race. 8 laps to go, coming to 7 laps to go, and now Stamard wants to fight back. Going into turn 6, gets the nose down to the inside, but has a very poor entry. Has to relinquish that run, goes a little bit wide coming up off, and loses a 10th or 2 getting into the final corner. What a drive there by Matt Sisler. Lost the lead after a little bit of a mistake getting loose. Able to take it right back, though, in virtually the same spot on the racetrack that he lost it.
Yeah, now he's back up front, has clean air and clean track. And I don't know what Samar's going to have to do and able to close in on the driver of this 87, Matt Sisler.
Well, we've still got more time for lap traffic to be involved, and we know both of these guys are bad fast. Track looks clear in front of your race leaders for the time being. So for right now, it's just mano a mano. Coming down to the end. 7 laps to go. Going to be 6 laps to go here in Watkins Glen. Scott Patton in 3rd place. He's fallen back to about 9 seconds back. But he's got a 30-second gap over 4th place, Ryan Steele. Top 3 in this race are in another zip code. The top 2 might be on another planet.
Barry Phil headed off track there. One thing about the drivers here of this Western States Racing League, we come to road courses, whether it's Watkins Glen or not, and they usually show up with about 20 drivers still, whereas some leagues we have to worry if we're going to have, 10 trucks show up.
And especially when you've got drop weeks in here. Like, I know plenty of my friends on iRacing that would straight up say road course, that's a drop week. Not showing up. But these guys, not only do they show up, they put on a good show. And, some of the guys that we see kicking ass on ovals week in and week out, able to come out here and do the same on the road course. Definitely see some other names kind of work their way up to the front here and there, but guys like Sisler, Samard, Jacob Jensen, I know he's damaged, but he was fast. Patton. Always seem to find their way to the front of these fields before these things are done. Well, there's not really a good time to do it, but we haven't done it yet, so we're going to step aside, pay a bill quick, and we will be right back with this finish.
Premier Racing Setups is the longest running setup shop on iRacing. Our monthly subscription options start as low as $20 a month. We offer setups for dirt oval, asphalt oval, and road racing, covering a wide range of cars and skill levels. Built and tested by top-tier sim racers, this isn't just a business, it's a community of competitive drivers. If you want to better your iRacing experience, head over to PremierRacingSetups.com today. And remember, if you don't get one, you're going to chase one.
Back live here. 0.7 of a second separate the top two. Matt Sisler able to pull out just a little bit under that break. Chris Simard trying to keep him honest as we come up to 3 laps to go here in the Finger Lakes region of New York. A little bit loose there for Simard coming up off of the final corner. 0.8 of a second is the gap across the line, but he still got himself a little bit of a run. It seems like Sisler is so good under braking at this stage in the race. It's really where he's able to gain most of his speed back on the 77.
Yeah, it definitely looks like that's that's going to be the difference here of this race. I mean, he's still trying to stay close. If there was a mistake, Samar's going to be able to close in, but with 3 to go, I don't know that there's anything unless a mistake happens here.
Oh, and there's a mistake, but that's not from the leader. It's from Todd Miles. He's in the middle of the racetrack, and a little scrape there from Chris Simard trying to get through. That's going to cost him some time. Ton of time off the carousel. It's 1.3 seconds. That was just poor timing to run into that 62 truck. Chris Simard, he's going to have 2 more laps to give it everything he's got. Try to find something in that truck he hasn't found yet today. While Matt Sisler has just under 5 miles to go. It's going to be his 3rd win on the season if he can continue keep it on the island. And now it's about 1.2 seconds. Chris Simard a little bit quicker through the first half of this lap. Sisler so strong under braking, especially getting into the bus stop.
Yeah, it looks like with nobody around, he is just even faster through that bus stops. He's got it down pat here. Getting closer to the end of the race. Only about, 14 more corners?
Depends on which ones you want to count. Got one car going off there. Dustin Burns gets out of the way of the race lead. 1 lap to go here in the Western States Racing League at Watkins Glen. Scott Kukas gets out of the way of the race leader, Matt Sisler. He's going to dive it in to turn 1. One final time, that gap increasing. It's almost 2 seconds now as Chris Simard trying to find a nice run off of turn 1, hoping that something can catch that 87 out to dry, give him one final opportunity to attack for this race win. But with 1.7 seconds between the two and half a lap to go, it's really looking like it's Matt Sisler's day. Sisler has led the most laps by a huge margin. He's led 26 of the 35 completed. It's going to be 27 out of 36. So 75% of this race led. Lost the lead coming up off of the bus stop, or rather into the bus stop off of the S's, but took it right back in the same place in an amazing move. One we're definitely going to have to go and look back on. But through these final corners, Matt Sisler, who has been virtually flawless all day, is going to come up off a 7, take home the checkered flag. Sisler gets it done in the Glen. Chris Simard comes home in 2nd, and Scott Patton, 9 seconds off the race lead, going to come home in 3rd. We got a ways to go back before Ryan Steele, who's just coming through the carousel. But Matt Sisler, your race winner here in Watkins Glen. Matt Sisler, your race winner here in upstate New York. Ryan Steele third, Bob Beltrami in fourth. Scott Patton third, Ryan Steele fourth, then Bob Beltrami and Wayne Hutchison round out your lead lap cars. Only 6 finished on the lead lap. John Kenyon in 7th, followed by Julian Ricci, Tyrone Harris, and Caleb Lamb recovers to 10th after that opening lap fiasco that he had in the S's, getting up into the wall and into the grass. Time to burn it down. Congratulations to Matt Sisler. Truly an awe-inspiring performance. Able to get it done. Let's go back and see if we can take a look at that pass for the race lead. Makes the move all the way to the right. Here he comes up on Barry Phil. Gets through 2 lapped cars to get to the preferred lane and take over the race win. See if we can get Matt Sisler up in the booth with us. Hey, Matt, it's Liam and Mike up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do.
And what a phenomenal race you put together there, and did not come easy. We saw that you led 27 out of 36 laps here today. But there was a couple that you didn't lead. We want to talk to you about them. Got a little loose coming off the S's. You lost the lead, but you didn't let him get away. Found an opportunity to take it right back in the same spot. Can you walk us through those 5 or so laps that you guys were battling back and forth?
I mean, I was hoping he'd go away. I was really hoping he'd just go away, Liam. I thought, like, oh, well, this will be fun. And then it's like he's still there, and you're like, could you just make one mistake and be about a second behind me? Just a little bit. And then I slipped up going by Julian. I think it was Julian, and he got in front of me, and it was just look for any opportunity to get it back. That was the only thing I could think of, was just look for an opportunity to try to get it back. And I like seeing him come up the S's with those with the lappers in front of him. I knew it might be my only chance. I didn't expect that one truck to be slow on the inside line. It made it a little scary if we had to go 4 wide heading for the bus stop, but it made it work. And then it was just try to bring it home. And don't make another mistake. And luckily, just barely slipped by that. I think it was the 62 who had a problem. And we were just able to come home with a win from there.
Yeah, it really seemed like you had something for these late stages in the race. And I was talking with Mike. I said, if he can stay close, I think he's going to have the better tires at the end. You started to get that gap right there at the end. But, man, what does it take to be so strong here, be so consistent at a very fast but very technical road course like Watkins Glen is?
That's a great question. This has just always been one road course that I've always loved going to. I've ran it for years and years and years, and it's always been one I want to win at. it's always been one I know if I'm not gonna be like a winner in a league, I know that like this is gonna be my shot for a really good run at this track. It's just there's something about it. I think because it was made for Formula One, like it's just so flowing and technical that you just have to learn to carry momentum and just don't lose that momentum as best you can. I know like they put in the bus stop to break it up a little, coming out of the S's down to the carousel, but if you can just find a way to carry that momentum even through there, uh, you can good things can happen for sure.
Well, you seem to be one of the best at carrying momentum, especially on the entries to corners. That 87 Three Birdies Golf Company machine that Dodge Ram looked super fast. Who helps you get it done? Who do you want to shout out for such a strong performance here in the 87? Your third win on the season, by the way.
Yeah, third win on the season. I think it's third in 3 different manufacturers, and I think it's Western State's first one in a Ram, if I'm not mistaken. But shout before anything of that, got to shout out my friend Zach Millett. He loves Watkins Glen, and he's had a family member who's been ill recently. Just want to send all of that all the way and dedicate that to him. He loves this track, so Zach, thinking of you, buddy. You and yours. Three Birdies Golf Company, obviously, this for the sponsor. They've been an awesome sponsor. They're always so excited when we have good runs, and glad to be able to bring them one at my favorite road course here in iRacing. Go check them out. They got a lot of cool merch. threebirdiesgolf.com. My painter, Alan Steigerwald, aka Lil Hooper Designs. He did a great job with this truck, and this is actually his number on it that I'm borrowing for, hopefully just for today, but wanted to carry that number and see if we could get something good out of it, so shout out him as well. Liam, you guys, everybody at SRM for doing an awesome job with this broadcast. This is one I'm definitely going to want to go back and watch, because I don't know how it looked in the booth, but when I made that pass on SimArt, it definitely felt pretty close. I don't know how it looked in the booth.
Oh, we thought you were wrecking. we saw that 99 come up. We're like, oh no.
No confidence. Okay, no confidence. That's fine.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't
No,
you.
kidding.
It was
I'm
the
kidding.
closing rate. It was the closing rate.
No, I know. I'm just kidding. And lastly, Bob and everybody at Western States who puts this on. This is an awesome league to run. I'm glad I get the chance to come over here and do it. Can't wait to go out next week and try to repeat.
Awesome stuff, man. Congratulations on the win, and we'll be talking to you again soon.
All right, sounds good, Liam. Take care.
All right, now we got second place, Chris Samard up in the booth with us.
Hey, Chris, Mike up at the booth, man. How's it going?
Good. How are you guys?
Well, not too bad. Well, it looked like you tried almost everything you could to keep Sisler behind you. Was there anything else you might have been able to do to bring home a victory tonight instead of second?
I don't think so. I definitely kept him honest. That's for sure. I tried everything. I passed him from lap cars, and then he passed me back. And I think the only reason I was there with him was because I had a better pin entry than he did. So that when we got out of the pits, that gave me a little momentum, and I was able to stay with him. And I got by him once, and then he got by me again with a lap car. And I tried everything. I just couldn't get to him. So.
Yeah, definitely. You were definitely the second fastest car all night. You had the fastest lap of the race, so the only driver I believe that went under 113. So congrats on that. Anybody want to thank before we get you out of here tonight?
Just thank FBR Sim Riga Accessories Creation Studios. My teammates are awesome. Thank my wife and son. Thank Matt for running me hard but clean. That was a lot of fun tonight racing with him, and we almost crashed a bunch of times and made out 1-2. So that was fun. So.
Congrats again on the second place finish, and we'll see what you have the rest of the season.
Thanks, fellas.
All right, now we'll bring in Scott Patton. Scott, it's Liam and Mike up in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, I got you. What's going on?
It seemed like you had yourself a pretty Pretty lonely day there in third place. You were pretty far off of the lead, but had a huge gap back to fourth. Ryan Steele behind you. What did you do to kind of keep yourself entertained out there? Did you maybe have a card game or a Game Boy or?
Yeah, it was pretty quiet out there, pretty lonely at times, but I just kind of kept telling myself maybe I have a shot. I kept trying to think that maybe if I try something a little bit different, I could at least keep on pace with those two up front, but I had nothing for them for sure. So being 9, 10 seconds off the pace, um, yeah, I don't know. It was kind of lonely, but once after the pit stop happened, we gained like 2 seconds off the pit stop. I was happy about that, and I thought that if maybe I could get some clean track and have them have some bad luck with some lappers, I might have a shot to get to them. But once they started pulling away, once the tires warmed up, I knew there was no way, short of them wrecking each other really badly, that there was no way I was going to get to them. So at that point, it's just a matter of cruise control and take home a top 3 here.
We saw at the beginning of the race, you were racing up there with Sisler, Samard, and Jensen. I think you and Jensen got together a little bit. Talk with us about the racing that you guys had out there, and what was it like just kind of having all 4 of you guys under a blanket for a little while?
Yeah, that was really fun. That was nose to tail there. I think we figured out pretty quick it was going to be potentially decided between the 4 of us in the first 3 laps there. And I just saw Matt and Chris start to kind of walk away, and then Jacob ended up a little bit further off the pace and making a couple mistakes and just trying to take advantage of that, put a fender in on the bus stop, and unfortunately our bumpers locked together there. I feel terrible about that one. He went for a little bit of a ride. I'll take the blame for that. Not what I intended at all, but it was getting frustrating watching the 2 leaders kind of walk away from us. So I knew we had to make something happen pretty quick if we had any shot at all. But yeah, I feel bad that it ended that way for Jacob. He was a clean racer and he raced me awesome through his first 5 or 6 laps, whatever that was. So he definitely didn't deserve that from me, but it was tough racing out there, and glad we held on here for the top 3.
Yeah, top 3 is good momentum moving in next week to Dover. What does that racetrack have in store for you? How do you feel about Miles the Monster?
Dover, I like. It's much more my style than these road courses. So I think if I have anything to say about it, maybe Matt will have a little more competition next week. So Concrete Miles, mile track at New Hampshire is my home track, and that's my favorite of all time. Even though it's a flat track, the mile characteristics of Dover still have some of the same characteristics in terms of being a mile in shape and some of the strategy calls and whatnot. So I think we should have a little bit better luck there for sure.
Awesome stuff, man. Thanks for joining us. Before we let you go, who do you want to thank for such a strong run here in that 46?
Let's see. I got who do we got on the truck? Stone River Outfitters on the quarter panels for all your fly tying fishing needs. Check them out at stoneriveroutfitters.com. And you guys were putting on a great broadcast. And I think on the hood we've got the Merrimack Run Club. It's my local run club. I just decided to throw their logo up there because it's fun. And shout out to my buddy Justin out there. And yeah, appreciate all you guys do, and looking forward to watching this broadcast here shortly.
Awesome stuff, man. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again in Dover.
Thanks, Liam. Appreciate you.
All right. Well, that about does it for us here on Sim Racing Media. We'll go ahead and show you guys the results of the day. Matt Sisler wins the race. Let's get rid of that guy. There we go. Matt Sisler wins the race over 2 seconds over Chris Samard. Scott Patton 10 seconds back in third place. Tyrone Harris gained the most spots today, up 8. 36 total laps for 87 total miles. 4 different lead changes through 3 different leaders. No cautions on the road course. Most laps led was Matt Sisler, fastest lap of the race. Matt Sisler, and Sisler fastest in qualifying as well. A dominant day for that 87 machine. Sisler wins over Samard, Patton, then Ryan Steele, Bob Beltrami, Wayne Hutchison, John Kenyon, Julian Ritchie, Tyrone Harris, and Caleb Lamb. David Weaver, Earl Weaver, Scott Kukas, Todd Miles, Brian Barnes, Wayne Fleet, Dustin Burns, Barry Phil, Alan Bergen, and Jacob Jensen round out the field here today. Phenomenal stuff, as always, from the Western States Racing League. And again, can't thank you guys enough for tuning in, hanging out with us on a Tuesday night. These guys know how to put together a show, and they kept us on our toes until the very end.
Yeah, they definitely did. It was going to be a close battle there, and we saw that almost 4-wide pass there for the win. That proved to be the move of the race, and let Matt Sisler take home the victory.
Well, after this awesome race, we head to Dover next week. Hope to see you guys there. As always, I like to quote Cletus and say, "Do it for Dale, be like Biff." Quote our old friend Tony. As you guys walk through the streets of life, please don't play in traffic. Have a good night, folks.